guys a little bit on, again, what I think was a big difference. And don't get me wrong, it starts getting really intense. And when you're playing against the best in the world, it's not simple stuff like Q on the Guarani. It's shit like... It starts getting really intense when you're playing specific champions like aatrox, urgot. Like, for example, aatrox urgot matchup had this really tight timing where you have to input your E as urgot before he would Q2 you, and there was a window where he would Q2 you. Basically, there was like a really tight window where you could get your E interrupted by his Q2 or his W if you were too slow, but if you were too early, his Q2 would interrupt your E, and then you'd get pulled by the chain anyway, and then he'd Q3 you and shit on you. The point is like, there were matchups where, like, against the best in the world, like, they would change these micro timings, like these very small things about how they would play it. And if you didn't have the concept really down and you knew what you were doing exactly, they could punish you very quickly and make matchups really difficult to play. You know, Renekton versus Jayce is another great example of a matchup like this, where the best in the world, they will E Renekton, they will hammer, they will EQ you, right, or QE you in range form, and then hammer swap into melee, instantly EU. Instantly. I'll show you a clip. I'll find it. I'll find you. I'll show you a concept where you could be playing against almost any Jayce player in the world, and you could trade the way that you could trade you could E forward as Renekton and get Q off at least. But some Jayce players, like Zeus, for example, you can't even get E off. He will E you out of your E before you can Q. Because his spacing is insanely good. And he's really fucking fast in his reaction. And it changes the matchup. Because sometimes you can actually just EQ into Jayce with 50 Furies or Renekton and repeat that process. I'm going to try and find the clip. But it's quite hard to find. So let me see if I can find it. I remember someone I coached mentioned it to me. And they said that on the Vietnamese broadcast, they showed it. Fun fact. So I have to go back and find it because it's like, I don't remember which chat it was in, but he showed me it, and I was very happy to see it because it was a really good example of these concepts being shown in real time. So it was pretty exciting. I don't think I'm gonna try and find it. It was basically Zeus doing like he would just like he basically input buffered his E, his hammer E RE like as he was getting Renekton stunned, and he solo killed Renekton instead of getting solo killed. And that small of a difference is huge in a competitive game. Getting solo killed or getting like solo killing the guy, big difference. Really big difference. I don't know if I can find it though, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't remember who showed me this clip, so I'm like scrolling up every thingy like chat I have. But it's looking doomed. I would love to show you guys, but it's looking doomed. I'm just letting you know. Someone can find the clip, let me know. Who was he versus? I don't know. It was an LCK game. I don't remember who exactly he played against. But it was pretty fucking boggers. Fuck. It's doomed. I can't find it. Makes me sad. But these small things make a difference because some players are just insanely like they will actually make the matchup about this. If you're a fighting game fan, it's the same in fighting games. There will be certain moves where people will say it is not reliable to parry this move or like to block this move. So whenever like in neutral game, when you're playing as this character, you can't react to this move. And over the years, some players are like, nah, bullshit. Oh, I found it. Nice. I'll show you. Some players went like, nah, bullshit. You can do it. And then they practice so hard that would actually end up doing that. Anyway, let me show you guys real quick. See? Renekton EE, boom. And that's why he's shopping, bro. The guy was fucking shopping and he pulls that off. Like, bruh. Bruh. He's so sad, no? That guy was like rubbing his hands together. Ooh, freebie. Absolutely dunked. Anyway, I think I showed you enough. My point is, you can start weaponizing this interaction if you practice it hard enough and you continuously push and push and push. And the point I'm making is, I think when it comes to the difference between EU and NA and Asia is like, these pros, they weaponize these things. Like the Asian pros, they weaponize matchups with this type of technique, and it makes it so you playing a matchup, you have to rediscover how to play it, because a certain pattern that you were used to, which is I can always W jayce, right? You might, little Bwipo shows up to Korea, and he can always press W as Renekton on jayce. I can always do that. I've done it so many times. I can do it against Wunder, I can do it against everybody. That's how this matchup goes. And then suddenly, little Bwipo walks into fucking Zeus, and Zeus caves my head in because he fucking full combos me every time I EW. So suddenly I can't EW anymore. So what's the solution? You have to grind to find it. You have to watch the VODs, watch other players play that matchup. And if you're not willing to rediscover these matchups and rediscover the entirety of all these situations, you just get shit on repeat. Which is why I think there is a big gap between Asia and the West. Because I think having the mental fortitude of getting your shit kicked in and then rediscovering a matchup, because you're relearning it, because the people didn't do this. Like, even some of the best players, they didn't do this in these matchups. And again, I'm not trying to diss Wunder or whatever. Don't misunderstand me. The guy's fucking the GOAT, the European GOAT, so don't misunderstand me. But my point is like, in solo queue, they didn't do this. In scrims, this rarely happened, at least. And when it did happen, it was something that was like, it wasn't something that was consistent. But then you play against these guys, and they do it once, and you're like, what a like, they're like, interesting. They do it twice, and you're like, wait, is that a coincidence? They do it the third time, and you're like, holy fuck. This guy does this every time. And you're just like, I remember having multiple of those moments where I was just like, holy shit, okay. If I'm going to have to beat this guy, I'm going to have to play a much better game, because that shit is crazy. And that is the beauty of Worlds, and why I love competitive play, because that realization is what drives my passion for League of Legends. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Catch you guys tomorrow. I will be live again.